私自身が完成度を想像しないことで新しい状況に発展できると感じています。
Show me a way out, give me your side. collaboration that builds throughout the centuries of combined knowledge that our bodies have.
Thank